The WCB Podcast, your source for all things Chicago Blackhawks and everything hockey. With your host, let's do it, Jarom, Tanner, and Nolly.
You know, you don't realize how loud that is until it gets played directly into your ears before we start it.
Just injected straight into my brain.
Welcome to another edition of the WCB Podcast, part of the Hockey Podcast Network, presented by DraftKings. It's Jarom. It's Tanner. What's up, bud?
It was a not good week, man.
Not good on the ice, not good off the ice. Remember how we said in our opening segment that news is going to come out and it's going to be no big deal, and it's just going to be water under the bridge and things will go back to normal? We were fucking wrong. We were so wrong.
You know, at least we weren't the ones spreading rumors that were completely false.
And people still argue that they're true. Still, which blows my mind that they're just saying that.
So dumb.
Yeah. So, Corey Perry's contract has been terminated by the Chicago Blackhawks.
Immediately, the next day.
Immediately after we got done. If you notice, there was this very little social media post about the last episode. It's because everything I did was from that opening segment. and there we go. Yeah, it was kind of interesting to see how it all played out. Like, within 6 days, the Hawks received the complaint, they investigated it, and they did actions. They terminated the contract, which, regardless of the situation, you know, not hearing much about what actually happened and what went down, it's like you do have to give the Blackhawks credit. They said that what happened in 2010 is never going to happen again, and they stuck to their word, and they took care of business as soon as it was brought to them. The press conference that Kyle Davison did the day of all the news and all that was tough. Yeah. I feel for him having to go through that. Like, that makes no sense that they had him do that.
Yeah, no one else there too.
That was weird. You would have thought like Wirtz or Faulkner would have been up there with him, or somebody to kind of like back him up a little bit. He was gonna really, like, there's a couple times I thought he was gonna start crying, like break down.
Pretty upset.
But so yeah, he is gone. And basically, if you really want to know what happened, I think the main clues that have been out there is that there's a team event in Nashville, had sponsors, executives, and all this there. It sounds like he maybe had just a little too much to drink and
a little sauced up,
did the wrong thing or said the wrong thing to the wrong person, and here we are.
Yep. You don't get much more information than that.
No. He released a statement.
Well, I don't know, like, because you know how, like, people are always like, well, the Hawks always said they're going to be more transparent with these things. And it's like, well, how much transparency are we actually, like, looking to get? Because I think the transparency they're talking about is the fact that, like, there was an issue brought up, and then it was released that there was an issue immediately, and then they took care of it. I'm thinking, like, obviously, like, they don't go too much into detail because you don't want, like, whoever was on the receiving end of whatever it was to get harassed. And you don't want, I don't know, like, in a way, it seems like they might be protecting Perry from, like, whatever he did too. They're just saying that, like, there was an incident and he's no longer with the team. Sure, people are going to draw up their own conclusions and try and be like, oh, he definitely, like, everybody's like, oh, he definitely did this. It's like, all right, shut the fuck up. Like, he obviously didn't, like, definitely do what you're saying because you just think that's what would be funny.
It's because you want him to have done it because it's the Blackhawks and all that kind of stuff. But it's like, yeah, kind of like what you're saying. Like, we don't have to get all the information for everything. Like, this is something that bugged me way back too with when Jonathan Toews was going through his medical stuff and he was gone and there was no answers. It's like, did I want to know what was going on? Yeah, of course. I would love to know, like, what's keeping him out. But at the end of the day, it's a personal thing that he doesn't have to share with. Right. I mean, there's a law in this country.
Your need to be in everyone's business does not mean you have the right to be in everyone's business.
And whoever this person was that this happened to, I can sure as hell tell you that they didn't sign up to be thrown into the public eye and have their name and all that out there.
Yeah, because that's the thing too, right? As soon as like that name becomes public, you're gonna get the people that are just assholes that are gonna be like harassing them, being like, like, why did you have to tell on him? Like, you, Corey Perry, like you would never have done that. You're a fucking liar. Like stuff like that would come out, and then nobody wants that kind of bullshit.
Exactly. So it's just let it be. I mean, it might eventually come out someday.
It probably will.
Who knows? But you know what? It's nobody's business. The only people that business is the person that was affected, Corey Perry and the Blackhawks, like and Kyle Davidson and all that kind of stuff. After that, let it be. Just let it go. Move on. He released a statement basically saying that he is reaching out to get help for mental health and alcohol. He never really said alcohol. Yeah, alcohol abuse. Was that the exact terminology he used?
Maybe he said problems with alcohol. I don't remember off the top.
Yeah, but and if that's the case, I hope he really is getting the help that he needs and all that kind of stuff. And I hope he's just not
tipping back one or two few many.
And I just hope if it is something serious and all that, he's not using that as his like scapegoat because he knows, well, I can't get too much in trouble if I say I have a problem, kind of thing. But sounds like he's already got teams interested in him for when he does decide he wants to come back and play again. So I'm sure he'll be on a playoff team here before the end of the year. Maybe this was his plan the whole time. Destroy the Blackhawks on the inside for
it's not destroying anything.
For 2013, he attempted to destroy the team from the inside for the playoffs a couple of years ago when he was on the Ducks still. Joking. After that, the Hawks had to play a game with all that going on. It was just crazy. The players to this day still allegedly don't know what happened. So they had to probably deal with all that, and then they had to go focus to welcome in the Kraken to town. This one I did not watch because I turned it on when they were up 2-0 and the Kraken immediately scored. So I turned it off.
It was a good game. Mrazek played great. He literally made so many great saves. Just continuing that awesome play that he's had, especially since I think this was his first game since the Columbus game too. So like I was saying before, where I was like, I'm glad that he had like that shit game and then bounced back. It didn't continue like poor play. That's why he was the third star. I think he could have been easily the top star. But I think just because like that Cartier kid ended up scoring, if he would have been only 2 goals against, he would have definitely been like first star. Boris continued. Like I think he had scored the last goal of the previous game, I forgot who they played from that one.
The previous game was
the St. Louis game.
Yes.
So I think he scored the last goal there and then scored the first goal in this game. And I was like, hey, Boris is heating up. He's been much more noticeable to me throughout like every game. But like that third and fourth line has been really kind of, they've been having puck possession, which is kind of crazy to me because we were hoping for that with like the first couple lines. But if the third and fourth line are getting it, like that's nice. It's just, they don't have the skill like the first line does to, put the puck away. But
I now know he's a real person. I used to always think he was a fake name because every time I watch you do nothing, and now he's been playing pretty well.
He's been driving the play up the ice. Like he's been pretty impressive to me just playing on that third or fourth line.
I don't know if you want to talk about this now, but let me ask you this. Like, do you think our bottom 6 is our best lines of hockey right now for this team?
I mean, they're the ones that have really been more consistent, but it is like the other teams are focused on the top 2, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think that they're just getting a lot more opportunity since there's so much focus on like shutting down Bedard and keeping that line off the board.
Anderson has been playing great too. Like I've been really
Joey Anderson.
Yeah.
Yeah, he ended up being first star of this game too, just getting 2 assists. Mackenzie Entwistle's ended up scoring like that. There's a lot of like good play from the Hawks during this game. It was nice to see them come out with a dub. I just thought that they were going to end up losing because Seattle has been like scoring goals on them like easily over the last like year or so. Because they've only been in the league for like 2 years.
This is year 3.
Yeah. So it was a really good game. Yeah, the Hawks just got outplayed in the third, though. They only had 3 shots. That's why Mrazek was even more stellar, man. 36 shots against and only 3 went in.
917 save percentage, is that correct? Yeah, 917
Yep.
save percentage. I mean, I don't know what else more you could say about him. Like,
he's
is
playing
he an
amazing
yeah,
on a really bad team.
yeah. He's doing what he needs to do. He's probably trying to get himself onto a team that will need some goaltending depth come playoff time.
Like the fact that he has like around, I think it's probably under 900 at this point just because of Sunday, but he was at a little over 900 starting that game on a not good team. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah, so moving on to Thursday's game. Started off amazing. I'm like, holy shit, this game's gonna not really amazing. I mean, the first 5 minutes of this game, I'm like, this is gonna be a game of who's gonna make the last mistake kind of thing, because the puck was just bouncing everywhere. It was very sloppy, very ugly hockey.
Yeah, it wasn't pretty. It was a lot of broken plays going back and forth. It was it was entertaining in a way. There's a lot of chances. It's just the Hawks also couldn't beat Alex Lyon, who's just having a pretty decent year himself.
Yeah.
And then this Mrazek again?
No, I think this was Mrazek.
Soderblom? Okay.
No, this is Mrazek.
Yeah, he just had a rough go. Like from what I remember of the goals, like some pretty good goals being scored. Yeah.
Oh, what was it? Fabry?
Yeah, Fabry.
That just
turning people inside out. Fucking
the way this game started, the Hawks go on a power play, immediately let up a shorthanded goal.
But then they answer.
And then they immediately answer. Lucas Reichel picks it up.
Bedard and Korchinski. So that's nice.
Korchinski, yeah. And then they immediately change the power play unit number 1 again. But anyway, yeah, after that, I mean, it was all Detroit in this one. 5-1 was the score. That DeBrincat, you can tell, was buzzing. He was sitting on goal 199. He wanted 200. You know, he wanted to score against Chicago. He hasn't scored against the Hawks yet. This is the 3rd game against them since he's been traded. Was traded to Ottawa and then traded to Detroit. Yeah, it's just I get so, I know we talked about this before. I just get so disappointed when Detroit comes on the schedule now, because it's like these games used to mean something, and now I'm just like, eh.
I mean, even with Patrick Kane going there, he even mentions it too. Like, is there really a rivalry anymore? Like, it used to be, like when he first started, but is it really there still?
It isn't. Yeah, NHL had to ruin it.
It's frustrating. It's so the NHL did have to ruin it.
No, Detroit had to cry. Little crybabies. They I need to be back in our Eastern Conference or Eastern time zone.
Yeah, being an hour later is such a pain in the ass.
Yeah. Anything else from that game?
Not really. It's just Hawks just got outplayed. Like, they had chances. They had plenty of chances. It's just, like I said, that Alex Lyon kid is having himself a decent year. And he continued.
So they followed up that. They had a nice little back-to-back 3-game road trip. Detroit, then to Winnipeg. This game they lost 3-1, but it looked a lot closer from what I saw.
Yeah.
It was pretty tight until I believe it was like the 3rd period is when Winnipeg kind of ran away with it. No.
Yeah, I think. Jesus, there's so many games this week. I mean, Bedard's starting the scoring, and I was just like, yeah, let's go. Get back in the dub column. And then it was just Connor Hellebuck, you know? Like, he's so good. It's fucking frustrating when you run into, like, the goalie that's, like, obviously been contending for Vezina trophies. And you're like, fuck, that's right. He is really good. So no matter what the Hawks were doing offensively, like, he just was putting up a brick wall there. Winnipeg, I mean, they were okay. I felt like the Hawks spent a lot more time shorthanded than they did. I don't know why. It might not have been this game. I think it might have been last game.
Well, so I'm trying to pull up the stats I wrote here.
Yeah.
So in the second period alone, the Jets were able to generate 24 shot attempts compared to the Hawks 13. The third period, the teams tied in shot attempts at 15 apiece, but majority of the Hawks shot attempts came after they were already down 3-1. So the majority of that, so the majority of the second period was all Winnipeg. They had the most opportunities out there. What was good about the Hawks for this one was the new look first line,
which is
Anthony.
Oh, Beauvillier. That's right. This is Bavillier's first game. I forgot the Hawks traded for him, just a 5th rounder.
Yeah, for 5th rounder, Anthony Beauvillier, Bedard.
And the reason that he couldn't play the game before was because he has work visa issues and he's not able to come to the U.S., which is insane to me because he's like, how was he not able to play?
Yeah,
in the U.S. beforehand, unless
I think
it's something to do with him now being in a U.S. team.
Yeah, because I think there's a difference between him traveling versus staying. But yeah, he that first shift with them out there together, like you could just tell that there was a whole like next level.
It looked good. Them. Yeah, it looked good. And it's just disappointing that he couldn't play Sunday against Minnesota. But
yeah, I mean, this is what they lost. I mean, he led the team with 8 shot attempts. He led the team with scoring chances with 7, and he led the team with high danger chances at 4.
Yeah, that's I can't wait to see more of that.
Like, he's a UFA at the end of this year. He's on a 1-year deal. This is a big pickup. I like it. I think that could potentially pay off well.
They can probably end up re-signing him if it like fits for the rest of the year. He's only making like $4 million. He's making a hair over from it. It's literally his contract like fills in the Perry contract. And what it did for Vancouver, who I think he was just like too far down on their depth chart, not getting the time of ice time that like they required him for. But
he had 8 points
they've been clicking like crazy. Games. Yeah, they've been clicking like crazy anyway. So they're like, hey, free up $4 million in cap space, and then they went and flipped that pick added a third and got Zadorov. So good for them. Good for the Hawks. I think Hawks really got them cheap. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's very much like the Jason Dickinson trade with Vancouver, right? Like we bought really cheap, and then it has the ability to really pay off for us.
It's a win-win.
Yeah, absolutely. Jason Dickinson's still playing fantastically, even though he hasn't been on the score sheet as much. He's definitely noticeable out there. There's guys on this team that are very not noticeable, and I'll tell you what, it's becoming less and less fun to watch when that happens.
Yeah, we'll get there in a second here. Last game, wrap it up. More of the same. Blackhawks go to Minnesota. Minnesota was they're feeling it. They have been rolling since their coaches change.
Yep. They were doing okay towards the end of the Evason, but they weren't getting in the win column. They were playing a little bit better, and now that they got the coaching change, like they've been hot.
Hawks lost this one 4-1, which, interesting enough, that's now 13 straight games that the Hawks have allowed 3 or more goals. They're 3-9 in that span, and they're being outshot. They outscored. They've scored 31 goals. They've allowed 47. So no offense. Yeah, no offense from this team. It's really tough. The other thing for me
when you
on
have
this
like
game,
the 31st like best power play in the league, like that's also a tough look.
Yeah. Bedard picks up an assist on the Hawks' lone goal, which gives him so that's 9 consecutive, or he's on a 9-point point streak on the road.
Yep.
Which is the second longest all time among 18 or younger players. He is just trailing Nathan McKinnon, who has 16 games as his record. And then Marc-Andre Fleury picks up the win. He's now 4 wins away from tying second all time.
Oh, and he's also like 4 games away from playing 1,000.
That's insane.
Yeah. It's pretty impressive. He played great too. That's another thing. Like the Hawks had plenty of chances. A lot where they just ended up like either like kind of missing the net slightly. That happened to Bedard. I feel like he's getting real frustrated because he gets some good looks and then he just ends up like clipping the goalie's shoulder or like just going high or wide. Man, he's gonna the way that he shoots, man, it's just gonna go in like crazy for a streak. I guarantee it.
I forgot what game it was, but the Hawks broadcast, so take it with a grain of salt, registered his wrist shot at 85 miles per hour.
Yeah, I think
That's
that was against Winnipeg.
That's fucking nuts.
Yeah. Oh,
that is insane.
The craziest thing to me this game too was the fact that when they were on the power play, Minnesota gave him so much space. And I was like, oh my God, we're gonna run away with this. And then they had 6 shots on the first power play. Just couldn't find the back of the net. But then that's the thing, like there was only 3 power plays total, and then they ended up getting one on the third power play.
But you know what? It was like their first power play was the best they've had probably the year so far. And it's like, I'm okay with that. Take the steps. Yeah. Like get the pucks on net, work on that instead of doing this whole like pass. Like, and again, I'm not one of those people shoot the puck, but it's like there's so many times that this team has a lane for a shot.
Yeah.
And they try to force an extra pass. Like, I don't understand.
That's pretty frequent. And it's like, oof, big oof.
You're struggling scoring goals. So hey, let's go and not put the puck on net to make it even harder.
Let's try and make the pretty ones happen all the time when we're not getting anything happening.
They don't ask how, they ask how many.
Yeah, right.
And
you can tell everybody it went bar down. It doesn't matter.
You are failing both right now, and it is infuriating.
Yeah. This is another game, Mrazek. I think he had a great game. There's some chances there that he just came up huge. Still, like the stats not going to reflect the fact that like I'm sure the advanced stats do because they're probably like like high danger chances and like goals above expected and things like that. But man, yeah, it's tough that he's getting no support offensively in these games and then very little defensive support, especially since in this game they sent down Kaiser and they sent down Phillips and then they healthy scratched Lucas Reichel. So man, they brought up Louis Crevier, who was his first game as a Hawk, and he was I think 7th round pick. He's 6'8". He's gigantic. It's crazy. He's been getting
2020 7th round pick, 188th overall.
He's been getting like first line ice time in the AHL is what the broadcast was saying, which is awesome. He had just a hair under 16 minutes played, 1 shot on goal, but then no other notable stats from there.
He's playing with Tenorti, right?
I believe so. He might have gotten time with some other guys too. No, probably just play with Tenorti because Tenorti finished with 16 minutes as well. Yeah, so they must have just played like whistle to whistle since their time on ice is almost identical. Yeah, like I think he held his own. It's pretty easy when you can reach half the ice standing near the boards. But that's a giant pairing. Tenorti and Crevier, 6'6" and 6'8". Jesus.
That's like that fucking basketball player on San Antonio that they just drafted this year who's like 100 feet tall.
Or whatever it is. He's like 7'8".
Literally just has to reach up to like...
Yeah. It's funny because when I was just mentioning that Zadorov trade, they also have the possibility of having a very tall pairing of Tyler Myers and Nikita Zadorov.
Oh shit, yeah.
Because they're both like around 6'5" and 6'6". So like, Jesus, a lot of big boys out there. But yeah, I mean, with this lineup, you have Jones and Murphy at 6'4", Tenorti and Vlasic at 6'6", and Crevier at 6'8", and then Korchinski, who's like 6'1" or 6'2".
Korchinski's a little baby out there.
Yeah, right, and he's not that small. Let's see, he's listed at 6'1". Yeah, you're so tiny, bud. Fucking. I think he had some good chances too, Korchinski, during this game. He's had some decent chances, like in all these games. It's the Hawks are just struggling to score.
he's starting to feel it, and the
Mhm.
confidence is growing in him, and it's awesome to see. Him and Vlasic have just been great, I think, in my
Yeah,
opinion, given their situation. Being the young defenseman on this D unit who's not set up. You don't have offense to bail you out.
right.
You gotta really step up, and I think they're doing good, and I think that's why they are getting the time that they're getting, and they're still up here, and they haven't been.
Vlasic almost had a breakaway chance in this game too, where he pushed the puck past the D and beat him in a foot race, and then took him wide and just like crashed the net. And I was like, "Oh shit!" Like,
Okay, all
okay,
right.
okay, Vlasic showing some wheels. It was pretty crazy. Yeah. All in all, man, like offense is just not there. Defense is what it is, right? Like we knew it wasn't going to be that great. It's going to be growing pains for the rookies, and then I don't know if there's much of the future for those vets other than obviously Seth Jones, who's stuck with the team for a while.
Yeah,
So
I mean, the mindset you got to have with it is the only person that you're really stuck with, or that you should really get used to, is Bedard.
yeah,
I think everybody else, I mean, Korchinski, obviously. I
yeah,
mean,
Korchinski and Vlasic, I
less.
think
Yeah, but I mean, after those three, I honestly could see everybody else getting dealt at some point. I mean,
it's possible. Yeah, I think
yeah,
that obviously like Korchinski's going to be like your guy as like the offensive defenseman for the future. Vlasic has just become a fantastic defenseman, and he can only get better, I think.
yeah,
And then yeah, like I mean, everybody else is up for grabs. Um, the other thing too, like I'm excited once Bavillier's visa thing gets figured out. Like that's something to look forward to because that line was, like you said, looked great against Winnipeg. Bavillier, Kurashev, and Bedard, and that kind of gives a little bit less ice time to Foligno, which is fine because I mean he's an older guy, he's a vet,
you can't
and
be skating him 20 minutes or whatever,
yeah,
whatever
I'm
you're
sure
skating Bedard.
he'll enjoy the little break, but he'll get that ice time on the penalty kill. He'll get that ice time on that second line power play, and then
And
he'll
when in
be able to
doubt,
play
if
with
you,
like the third or fourth line guys. And yeah, you can always move him up.
yeah, if you need to, or something's just not clicking, you need to, reset a little bit. Hey, let him play
Yeah,
the
I
rest of
mean,
the game here.
honestly, like the way that he kind of helped Bedard, like why not move Reichel back to center, bring him back in, and get Foligno on his line? See if something
Yeah,
can just kind of spark him a little bit there.
Bet the action on the ice with DraftKings Sportsbook. DraftKings makes it super easy to bet on NHL action. Just looking at games tonight, you have the Vancouver Canucks, who are just on an absolute tear this season that nobody really saw coming. They are money line favorites at -162. You have the Edmonton Oilers, who are looking to get their season back on track, -185. And then you even got the Carolina Hurricanes, who are just big time favorites with -258. Those are just some of the odds that DraftKings offers you each and every night. Make sure you download the app now and use code THPN. New customers get $150 instantly in bonus bets for betting just $5 on hockey. That's code THPN only on DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL. The crown is yours. Bonus bet expire 168 hours after issuance. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.1800gambler.net. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of the Boot Hill Casino Resort. 21 plus, age varies by jurisdiction, void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 186 hours after issuance. See dkng.com/hockey for eligible and deposit restrictions, terms, and responsible gambling resources. NHL and the NHL Shield are registered trademarks with the NHL League. Copyright NHL 2023. All rights reserved.
Because I think that he's definitely a very helpful. Like his leadership is immense, and
what's
I
it gonna
think
hurt?
exactly, yeah, right. Like is Reichel still going to struggle to score? Like, okay, does that that's not going to change anything?
Yeah, we'll get to that in a second, kind of because it kind of goes with what you're talking about with other players. But Coming up, the Hawks tonight play Nashville. Then they got the Ducks on Thursday, and then they have back-to-back games Saturday, Sunday. Saturday against St. Louis, Sunday against the Capitals. 4-game homestand. A lot of home games this month. I just realized. Damn.
Good. I mean, it doesn't matter. Bedard's got a road streak.
Yeah.
He's got the road streak, not the home streak, though.
So Bedard's not going to score any points from that 4-game. No.
Right. I hope not. I hope he does. Yeah, Washington on Sunday.
Which,
man, oh man.
NHL Talk has some quite crazy stats for you through 8 weeks.
Oh, cool.
3 stars of the week.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's slim pickings here, huh?
Right. I mean, you got to stick with Bedard at number 1, I think.
Yeah, because he's got 3 points. I mean,
we should almost call Bedard and 2 other stars of the week. We should probably start saying.
Right? I mean, just based off of guys that played well, I think Vlasic played well, even though he's not on the score sheet. He was a +3. You can say that.
Yeah.
Nobody else was that close.
Let's get to Boris.
Yeah. Or you'd be like, hey, Bavillier, way to come in. Way to come in there and just look good for that one game.
You know what? Let's do it.
That'd be funny. The new Blackhawk. It's like, no, I don't know. Boris, yeah, I don't know. Whatever you want to do for 3, who cares?
All right.
Who cares? Lucas,
so you were talking about
points in 3 games.
Yeah, I think it's health bound.
Yeah, right.
So you were talking about texting me. You had a question of the day.
Oh yeah, where in the world is Carmen Sandiego, aka Taylor Radish? He's scored the late goal last game against Minnesota, but honestly, like, what's he been doing this year? I feel like there's been so much focus on like all the other guys.
He's been very hard to kind of defend this year.
Yeah. I mean, he's only got 4 goals and 2 assists, 23 games. I don't know. I feel like what's going on, you know?
I mean, I'm just gonna say it, and I know it's gonna be tough. I mean, I don't know, you might disagree, but it's like I feel Taylor Radish and Reichel right now have been like 2 of the bigger disappointments of this team.
Yeah.
I mean, Reichel, it's like I want to give him benefit of the doubt just because it's like first time getting first season where he's like expected to play a full season and all that, but it's like I feel any progress he made that he showed last year from all the work he did in Rockford has just disappeared.
Yeah. That's possible. Oh, like here's the thing, like Radish is playing basically the same amount of ice time as he did last year. He's even, so that's good. I think him not being on first line power play is hurting him because I think he was on the first line power play last game, and look at that, he got a goal. That was his first power play point of the season so far. He's got a shorthanded goal too, which is kind of funny. I think that's where he was most effective last year was like power play. He had 15 power play points out of his 37. But still, you know, it's probably just goes along with a lot of what the Hawks are experiencing as a team, and it's just the struggle to score.
Is he the next, like, I feel like every year we've had a player like this, Kubalik, Suter, like all these guys who are like, oh, there's a huge, like, we're relying on them for offense, and then they get snake bitten, and then they just disappear, and then now we're gonna probably move on from Radish.
Yeah, it's possible. I don't know. I hope he just kind of gets it going again. Maybe it's just the fact that he's not shooting a ton. Right now, like Bedard's leading the team in shots with 71. Taylor Radish has 40 shots.
Yeah,
4 goals. So he's shooting at like a 10%. league average-ish of 10%, like right there. Even like Lucas Reichel's got 36 shots, but he's only got 2 goals, so he's shooting at 5.6%. It's just I'm wondering if he ups his volume of shots, if he'll start seeing more goals go in. And
I think that's just the thing with this team. It's
they just got to shoot, right?
Besides Bedard, nobody's shooting. Like, it's insane the drop. Bedard
the next
is up
closest
by
20. And then he's up by 20 on Seth Jones. If Seth Jones is taking 51 shots and has 0 goals, like, I'm pretty sure everybody else would start shooting a bit more. And then it's Ryan Donato and Nick Foligno. Like, guys that, like Taylor Radish, who put 20 in last year, should be shooting more than them. Lucas Reichel should be shooting more than them. Fuck, man. Kurashev has 32 shots. He's played 6 less games, but I know he's been ripping the puck too. He's been trying to shoot on the power play.
Yeah.
But
he's got to keep up with Bedard.
Oh, yeah, I forgot that Athanasiou was hurt too.
Yeah.
That's another thing. Having Athanasiou out kind of sucks because his speed is definitely missed. And, like, he just likes to shoot too. Yeah, we just need those guys to fucking start shooting a lot more. That's why I'm excited about Beauvillier. Hopefully he starts fucking ripping. He had 2 shots in the one game. That'll be good. I hope that, like, ends up. Here's if everybody can start contributing more offense and the lineup being like Beauvillier, Kurashev, Bedard, and like could just click. And then second line be if it's Reichel can start righting the ship and Radish start ripping, because Reichel does like to pass. If he can find Radish and then like Nick Foligno, like, just because like he was doing completely fine on that Bedard line. But now you can put him on that Reichel line and see if you can kind of guide him a little bit more offensively, maybe give them a little more like room because he's the one out there making sure that shit's going right, like going in the corners. That would be great. Otherwise, give Jason Dickinson the fucking shot on that second line too.
Dude, he's shooting 21.2% right now.
Yeah. I mean, he's second on the team in goals.
That's insane. Yeah.
If nobody wants to fucking shoot, man, like at least get Dickinson some more ice time. He's got 5 less minutes on time on ice per game than Bedard right now.
Dude, this team is starting to feel like a really crappy men's league team. You got your one good player, and you're just like, oh, he'll take care of it.
Yeah, right?
He's got it. But
it's frustrating because I feel like they easily get put down and like frustrated when they're not scoring. And so they just like start looking for more passes instead of shots.
And here's the thing too that's kind of even more frustrating is, and with this whole like, I mean, I don't think that's the case where they just are like, oh, well, Bedard's gonna handle it,
right?
But it's like it looks like seeing Bedard like against Detroit when he got frustrated and he snapped his stick against the board. It's like this kid is already feeling like a shit ton of pressure.
Right.
The last thing he should have to do is feel frustrated because shit's not going, their way.
Oh, that just reminded me about that game in Winnipeg when he just absolutely fucking dipsy doodles along the side of the boards and rips a fucking backhand pass to Kurashev. And Kurashev holds it for a little bit too long and Hellbuck makes the save where it's a little bit of like, maybe everybody is just watching what he's doing.
I think so.
And they're kind of like, oh shit. Like, it's like, oh man, please. Like, if Kurashev would have ripped that right away, that was like right on his tape, no look pass, like right past 2 defenders. And I was like, oh my God. Like, how does he do that?
Yeah, that's another thing too. I mean, I've noticed that too with everybody. They're getting the pass, hold, shot. It should just be get the pass shot, right. And it's just Katie's got to spend some money, man. Get some guys.
I think, that's in the
not
future.
yet, but I'm really, as the season's going on, it's like I hate feeling like and talking like that because it's like you got to trust the process and what we're building is going to be good and all that.
Right.
But it's like, as frustrating. I mean, it's as much as we can accept the fact that this team's going to be bad. Like they're destined for a top 3 pick or at least a top 5 lottery pick or whatever. But it's like the frustration of watching them out there.
Yeah.
And just not trying, it seems like.
Well, it's the consolation goals, right? Like it's the prevent a shutout goal and like, that's all it is.
It's like,
and then just like being dominated.
There's a difference between this team and last year's team, where last year's team, they knew they had no chance, but they were close in every game, and it felt like
this team kind of started
maybe
that way, and
yeah,
then fell off a bit from it.
yeah. So it's like whatever they need to do, they got to find their identity again. Like they have got to find some identity for this team, and Coach Richardson, whether it's Coach Richardson or if it's Kyle Davison coming in and doing something, like somebody has got to step up and be like, this is the culture, this is the identity, and this is the way we have to play.
I think that, I mean, whenever they had those closed door meetings with the players only, they always come out of those like fired up. It's like they probably just need to do that every game.
They got to find some consistency too, because they have yet to win back-to-back games.
Yeah.
And they've yet to put back-to-back like good performances. They play amazing one game and then they look like absolute dog shit the next.
Yeah, it's weird. The consistency just isn't there. Which, I mean, with the young team, right? Growing pains. So
it's growing pains, yeah. It just doesn't make it any easier watching it. And it's like you can be the most understanding fan in the world and it's still frustrating to see. And it's rightfully so. And that's, you know what, we have every right to be frustrated and feel that way. But good news. Unless you got anything else to say?
No, that's it.
What that? Okay. Bedard, rookie of the month for November.
Hey. Yeah, because he's awesome.
And then the other thing I have for Hawks talk is World Juniors is coming up and the initial rosters have been like announced. Hawks have 6 players on the initial rosters.
Oh, okay.
For Team USA, it's was it Gavin Hayes?
Okay.
Frank Nazar. Nice. Oliver Moore.
Nice.
And Rinzel. Is it Sam Rinzel?
Oh, Sam Rinzel's on there?
Rinzel, yeah.
Nice.
Slovakia.
Hot shit.
Slovakia has Gajian.
Yeah. And then Martin Misiak.
Misiak, yeah.
Yep.
So 6 players. Not bad.
And, I mean, technically Canada could have had Bedard and Korchinski, but no. No, thank you.
The one I was kind of surprised was what team does he play for? Or what? Ludwinski.
Oh yeah,
dude, he has been killing it this year.
He's Canadian, huh?
Paul Ludwinski. Unless Canada hasn't announced their team yet or their roster yet.
I don't know. It's possible. I haven't seen anything about it. I honestly only saw the Slovakian team anyway. With Misiak and Gajan.
Yeah, he's Canadian, so they haven't announced their team yet.
Well, he's having himself a year, huh?
Oh my god. I just exited out. He was at one point was on a 14-game point streak. He currently is through 23 games, 11 goals, 15 assists for 26 points.
Yeah. I mean, even like Nick Lardis, he's got 27 and 25. And he's another Canadian kid. He's 18 though, so I don't know if he's going to actually make that roster. Paul Ludwinski,
let's see.
It's possible. He's 19. He can make it.
Doesn't look like they have released their roster yet.
Yeah. It's not final rosters, right? It's just like
no, it's just the initial
invited players or whatever.
Correct. Yeah. The games start. They're going to be in Sweden this year.
Ooh.
So that'll be some early morning hockey.
Ryan Green, too, out of Boston University. He's another Canadian kid. He's got 16 points in 16 games in the NCAA.
Who's that?
Ryan Green.
Oh, Ryan Green.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm because you know how the points work, where a lot of points in the CHL is similar to like being a point per game in the NCAA. So I wonder if they give him a look too.
Celebrini, baby.
Yeah, right.
Kid's killing it.
Speaking of Celebrini, I had this like weird thought where it was gonna end up him going to like St. Louis, and I was just like, how fucking weird and funny would that be if like the rivalry between the Hawks and St. Louis was like on fire because we just had back-to-back first overall picks between the two of them. I don't know why. I was just like, it's just something that I popped into my mind. It was crazy.
Who are the other two guys that they're saying? Because I was reading somebody talking about him, and he's like, he's a projected top 3 pick. Are there two other players that are like, oh shit?
Yeah, I know one's named like Demidov. I'm on fucking Elite Prospects right now, but let me double check. Draft Center. Okay, they're not gonna have it. Dang it! Hold on one second.
Cole Eiserman.
Oh yeah, Cole Eiserman. He's one of them. Yeah, that kid's from the national development team, and then Ivan Demidov. Yeah,
Demidov.
there's a handful of guys that are in like the top 5, top 10 that are supposed to be pretty good. I just don't think the draft is as deep as it was last year. But there's some
it's
really,
a good year
really good players.
It's a good year for us to be bottom of the league again.
Yeah. Like the Cole Eiserman kid, he's a left winger. He's got 41 points in 21 games in the national team development program.
He's committed to Boston University next year.
Yeah, which I mean that could always change, right? But
right,
Garrett, that's fine. Then Ivan Demidov kid is a Russian. Is playing in the SKA St. Petersburg team.
Yes, I don't know, man. Russians, man. Still nervous about that.
Yeah, well, it's not the 1990s anymore, so
yeah,
can't let Detroit have all of them.
Yeah, that's fair. All right. Anything else for Hawks talk?
No, that's it. That's a long one. Long Hawks talk.
All right, yeah, about 45 minutes. Holy shit.
Woo, baby.
Let's real quick then NHL talk. We already mentioned Patrick Kane signs with Detroit 1 year, $2.75 million. Likely to start. Not gonna was projected to play out tonight against Buffalo in Buffalo. Does not look like that's gonna happen.
Nope.
Yeah, I'm interested to see. I really hope that the surgery helps him and that he gets back to Showtime status. I'm excited to see him and DeBrincat. Reading more about
that's really exciting.
Yeah, reading more about the surgery though, it doesn't have a lot of success in the NHL.
No,
so hopefully he can be the outlier.
Especially since Detroit is currently in a playoff spot. Like I would love to see them succeed with Cade and DeBrincat, just because let them make it to the playoffs, man. Like let them build something good, and then when the Hawks are good too, like let's fucking face off.
The NHL is better when the original 6 teams are good.
Yeah.
Say it for me again. Let's go.
Right? Like right now, like Leafs are good. Detroit's playing well. Boston's playing well. Montreal's amazing. Not that bad. They're like, I mean, a few points out of a playoff spot. Rangers are fucking killing it, and then the Hawks are just like,
it's like that three-headed dragon meme.
Yeah,
where it's
right.
Like 2 badass dragons, and they got the goofy looking one. That's the Hawks right now.
That's the noise I made. That's what I was thinking. It's like I'm also here.
Yeah.
Like, all right.
I also, when I initially saw him sign there for 1 year, I also think if the Rings fall out of a playoff contention, you could flip him. I mean, you could flip him for some assets if he's looking like he can play.
Hey, there's other original 6 teams he hasn't played for yet, but
he's got 3 to go.
He could honestly just go back to the Rangers.
He could,
because that's a much easier deal to acquire for the Rangers, and I don't know, man. I think Detroit has the ability to kind of succeed. Like they were playing, like even when they played the Hawks, they were playing without Larkin.
Dude, if they can just get a goaltender.
Oh, speaking of Dylan Larkin, sad news out of that.
Yeah, he missed 2 games for non-hockey related reasons, and then he ended up releasing a post on Instagram saying that him and his wife suffered a miscarriage. Fucking shitty, man. I hate.
Yeah, that's the worst.
I hate hearing that shit. But, yeah. So thoughts go out to the Larkin family. I think he's back, right?
Yeah, I think he scored immediately.
Of course he did. Good for him. Arizona's on fire.
Arizona is on fire. They're just killing
4-game win streak. All 4 of them have come against the most recent Stanley Cup champions, the first team in NHL history to do that.
They're playing tonight against
St. Louis?
Their last Stanley Cup champion that they have to defeat in a row.
Oh yeah, because it was Tampa.
Mm-hmm.
St.
Colorado
Louis,
was in there, and then they beat Vegas, and then they beat Washington, and then they're playing St. Louis tonight, right? That's what you said.
Yeah.
And so
that's
St. Louis
amazing.
is the last one before that, and I don't think they have Pittsburgh coming up anytime soon. No, Larkin had an assist in the last game. I think it might have been on the game winner.
Or no, they're playing Washington tonight.
Okay, that's what it is. Did they just play St. Louis?
They might have. I don't know. It should be fucking easier to find this stupid NHL.com.
Yeah, right. Anaheim, Arizona. Clayton Keller, 21 points, 23 games.
Oh yeah, they just beat St. Louis on Saturday.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
So their last loss was against St. Louis, which is kind of funny. And then they beat Vegas, Tampa, Colorado, St. Louis, and now they're playing Washington tonight.
They got Pittsburgh a week from today. Well, tomorrow.
Oh, really? That's funny.
Yeah. But they
got it's not in the row.
Oh god, that would have been amazing. They got the Flyers, Boston, Buffalo, then Pittsburgh.
That's always it's such an interesting streak of teams, right? And then they're just on fire.
Their schedule right now could be really beneficial for them. These are the games because they got the Flyers are playing well though.
The Flyers are kind of on a downturn right now though.
They got the Flyers, they got Buffalo twice, they got San Jose twice, they got Ottawa, they got the Ducks.
Buffalo was supposed to take the biggest step forward, and they have just been the same old Buffalo. It's so sad.
Well, let's do that. We'll wrap this up with some interesting stats through 8 weeks of the NHL season. This is via NHL feeds on Twitter or on Instagram. Only team without a player with 15 plus points. Can you name them?
Only team without a player with 15 plus points? Islanders.
Capitals.
Okay, and their most points goes to what? Dylan Strome?
Probably, yeah.
He has the most goals. It actually might be Ovi.
I texted this to our group chat the other day. But the San Jose Sharks has more regulation wins than the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Yeah. Yep. That's funny. That's a very weird one. Toronto's winning all their games in OT.
It's crazy. Leon Draisaitl has just 3 goals at 5-on-5 this season.
Okay, that makes sense.
Makar and Quinn Hughes are both on pace for over 110 points.
That's pretty sexy.
The Sabres have an 87% chance of missing the playoffs again.
I don't know what their deal is.
Capitals are the only playoff team with more goals against than goals for.
Okay.
And then the last one, Christian Jarry is outscoring Josh Anderson.
Oh, really? Didn't he tie Zegras in points, or was that somebody else?
No, that was him. I think with his goal. Goal.
I can't believe he scored a goal. He also broke his stick that game of somebody. Did you see that?
No.
There was a whole scrum in front of the net. Somebody dropped their twig on whatever team they were playing, and he picked it up and broke it against the pipe and just dropped it. And I was just like, God, what a dick.
Fucking
but
goals,
whatever. Just finish it out with a goal. Oh my God. How about I just remember this. How about Tampa scoring, what was it, 6 goals on 15 shots?
Oh shit, yeah, what was that one?
Against Carolina. And then Tampa loses the other night 8-1 against Dallas.
And they're up 2-0 against Dallas right now.
Oh, really? Jesus. Yeah, it's just a weird week. Oh yeah, the Sharks beat the Devils 6-3. The Sharks had 18 shots. The Devils had 47. But before that, Tampa had that wild game. Let's see if I can find it.
You said against Carolina?
Yeah.
8-2.
8-2. Okay.
On 14 shots.
14? It was 14?
Yeah.
Oh my
8 goals
God.
on 14 shots.
That's hilarious. It was such a weird week, man.
Antti Raanta with a .429 save percentage.
Yeah, that's not good stuff.
You leave him in for that entire thing.
Yeah, what's he gonna do? Demand a trade?
But it's like, dude, give him a like after so many goals, don't you just like, all right, let's just switch it up for your mental state.
Yeah, like we don't want to destroy your confidence.
Oh shit. That's all I got.
That's all I got. That's it.
All right, 254. What do you want to call it?
Oh, what was the last one titled? It was like the Corey Perry saga.
Files. The Perry Files.
Perry filed. Oh no. That sounded too much like pedophile. Fucking like struggle bus city. Fuck, I don't know, man.
How about shoot the puck?
Shoot the puck. That's good.
All right, episode 254. Make sure to follow us on your favorite podcast feed. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Social media at WCB Podcast. Promo code THPN on DraftKings. Social media at WCB Podcast. Did I say that already? Yeah, whatever. All right, we'll see you on the next one.
All right. Love you, boys. Bye.
Thanks for listening to the WCB Podcast. Be sure to subscribe wherever you heard this podcast. To connect with Jarom and Tanner, check out the boys at WCB Podcast on all social media. We'll see you next time.